I'm a CMI Master Trainer for ISSA, so that involves me with a lot of instruction. My background involves with being in the industry for the last 40 years. And during that time, I've had the great honor of serving on the ISSA Board of Directors. I've done a lot of work with other associations as well, like the IICRC. The most cost-effective way that people use in order to bring this information to their front line is to send somebody in a leadership role to a train-the-trainer program. The train-the-trainer program gives them a certified professional trainer designation, and it empowers them to actually help their front line learn all these skills, as well as become certified as custodial technicians. And there's a key word there. The whole word technician is significant, because you don't have to have a formal education or diploma to be a janitor or to be a custodian. But to be termed a technician is an indication that you've received some form of documented training and certification. So that's the most significant part of this program. And I want to stress that it came about primarily because it became a very cost-effective way for organizations to bring this information to the masses in their front line without trying to train every individual one of them in a class like this. We do these things a lot of different ways. We do them both with live on-site certification workshops, which is generally 3 days in various cities throughout the United States. But we also do it in a virtual platform, and that virtual platform allows a lot of people to attend that may not have had the opportunity to do that before. We've not only had people attend from all across the United States, but people from Canada, people from Europe, people from the Far East, from Japan. It's been amazing to me to meet these folks from all over the world. So the most important skill set that comes out of Train the Trainer is how to be a leader to a team of people. You don't manage people, you manage work, you lead people. And so the idea is to teach them how to lead people so that you can manage the work. And if you're going to manage work, the key thing there is you have to make sure that you're hitting high levels of effectiveness, but you don't have unlimited time to do that. So you have to do that in the most efficient manner. So businesses that are independent building service contractors, this is all about profitability. It's survival in the business world to be able to be efficient in coming up with effective results. In an organization where there's an in-house service provider, like a college or a school, this is all related to the types of budgets they have to work with and whether or not they can achieve the effectiveness they want with a limited amount of resources to work with. So that's what it's really driven to do, is to help bring this information to everyone. It dives into the course itself, includes things like ISSA's really world famous Value of Clean program, which talks about that we don't just clean to make things look nice. We clean for health, and we're really saving lives. That's the bottom line. The byproduct of cleaning for health and saving lives is, coincidentally, it looks clean and smells nice, but it's a byproduct of how we approach things. So does asset preservation. If we study the surfaces we're cleaning, like floors and carpets, and we know how to care for them properly, we preserve their lifespan. We give them a longer amount of time that they can survive. And in the process, the building ends up looking clean and smelling nice. Again, a byproduct of things that are more important than just the appearance. Part of what comes into this program is understanding there's a lot of standards out there. Both ISSA and IICRC have driven a lot of standards, so we cover all these standards. What are the standards which are considered the minimum level of performance we need to achieve, right? We have to meet a standard. We may want to excel and highly surpass those minimum levels to meet a standard, and that's really what we refer to as best practice and being at the top of the game, top shelf. We want to make sure we're covering those industry standards. People need to know that. If you don't know what the target is, you don't have a clear identity of what the mission is, how do you actually get involved with training people? And so that's really what we established. The other piece of it gets into the fact that the number one driver of clean buildings is whether or not the task frequency assignments are adequate to meet with the soil load and traffic patterns. So things like effectiveness and efficiency come into play as you fine tune the game, but you better at the very beginning make sure that you're assigning the proper task frequencies on areas that get soiled pretty heavily. So that is also covered. And then the other end of it that I have to mention is that we don't live in a world where we have unlimited resources, unlimited manpower. There's a squeeze on all that. And a lot of the conversation that we see happening out there revolves around how to minimize cost, or how to minimize expense. And there's a voice there that's not being heard. And the voice is the building's voice. And that means that the building has needs. It's not about what the desires of the building owner is or the desires of the service provider. The building itself has needs. You think about a car or a truck. It's got needs. You've got to replace the oil. You've got to replace tires. You got to replace the brakes, or you have catastrophic failure. And a building is the same way. It's got needs. It has to be cared for. The floors have to be cared for or they'll fail. The carpets have to be cared for or they fail. Things like HVAC systems are looked at that way, but rarely do we look at the surfaces of the building that way. And if we neglect the care that the building needs, the results can be catastrophic and expensive. So the idea is, what does the building actually need to keep up with the traffic pattern and the soil load? And really what it boils down to in many ways, as my friend Bill Llewellyn once said, let's get away from just cleaning a building and start focusing on caring for the building and the people in it. That comes from Japan. In Japan, if you've served your life well in the cleaning sciences, you can actually retire to have care and custody of a skyscraper in a downtown city in Japan. And they look at that with great dignity and pride. And the people that care for those buildings stand at the door in the morning, and as the employees arrive, he greets them and they thank him for the care that they're putting into the building as they come in. Now that's an incredible amount of dignity and respect that's shown to people that are involved with not just the cleaning, but the care of the building. And I think that's really the message that I try to put out there, that there's a lot of different things that put the squeeze on us, but we can't lose sight of what the building needs, or it ends up being a catastrophic failure. Some of the most notable people that have been through these classes with me, I've got to do a shout out to, folks like Helga Alt, who's one of the leading iconic figures in Europe. She put together the European qualification standards. Like that's incredible. We've had Michael Perkins, who sat on the S400 Standards Committee. We've had Bill Llewellyn, who's an instructor for IICRC. One of the best stories I can tell you is a gentleman by the name of Kenneth Bell, who started off going through a lot of these courses with me. But he started off as a custodian in a community college, and he is now in a leadership role with the University of Maryland in College Park campus. And he's the first person that would actually give you testimony as to how getting involved with Train the Trainer and CMI and education furthered his career. And because of that, we've done a lot of work with things like Federal Bureau of Prisons at a federal level that are trying to work with people trying to re-enter citizenship. As well as the New York Department of Corrections, who and the Virginia Department of Corrections. They've all attended these virtual train-the-trainer classes. Shout out to Goodwill and a couple other big agencies, too, that have looked at this as a vehicle to create a career path opportunity. But I know I've been on a roll here, but I'm passionate about this class. The Train-the-Trainer class is one of the most powerful things you can do for anybody, because it creates leaders among the cleaning industry, not just practitioners of the tactics, but leaders. And that's what the industry needs, is leadership. Bottom line is that we've got some classes coming up. The details are at the bottom of the screen. And I'd really like everybody to consider joining me. Help me elevate the industry. Let's drive some respect and dignity to the industry. Let's change the way the world views cleaning as a profession and as now a recognized trade. I really hope to see you all there.